Iron Man was released in 2008 and was directed by Jon Favreau and stars Robert Downey Jr. And this film sparked the MCU in 2008, a franchise I'm going to cover, starting with the first Iron Man film. And is about after being held captive in an Afghan cave, billionaire engineer Tony Stark creates a unique weaponized suit of armor to fight evil. This movie was released at the perfect time. I was 8 years old when my parents bought me a DVD copy of that first Iron Man film, and the rest was history when it comes to the MCU we know today. And man, is this pre-MCU. It even opens with the Paramount logo. Growing up, I was always a massive Spider-Man fan. Everything with Spider-Man, I am there opening night. And when it comes to the DC universe, I love Batman. But the reason why I mention these characters is because at the time, these were the more known ones, along with Superman. Especially after coming off the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy with Spider-Man 3 released in 2007.
Look at little Goblin Jr. Gonna cry?
So Iron Man was a character I wasn't too crazy about, and I wasn't crazy about this movie either when it was first released. But 2008's Iron Man changed the game, mainly because of Robert Downey Jr. He owns this role, and he's a big reason why many, including myself, love Iron Man now. Prior to this, he had some pretty memorable roles, but I think this is the one that really put him on the map. There's unscripted and improvised moments where he's talking to actors and they're smiling, trying not to laugh, and trying to figure out what to say in response to his unscripted moments. And you can tell off the bat that this movie's very different from the movies that we see today when it comes to the MCU. It's very different. It's very refreshing and actually feels like an on-the-set production, whereas the newer films feel like they're shot in a corporate-made office space surrounded by green screens. I could only imagine how this franchise would have turned out if it flopped, because the same year The Dark Knight was released.
This could be anything from a flop to a moderate single, where you get on base and just keep plugging along in your career, to something that, where it's beyond what people's expectations are. I really don't know how people are going to react to this thing. I know the people close to me seem to like it. I know that there's funny scenes, that there's scenes with a lot of heart. There's a lot of truth in it. I love the performances. I love the cast.
Another great thing that the film does is how much character and story is told in like the first 30 minutes. The character development is perfect here. You know his father in the beginning. You know that Tony Stark is a billionaire playboy who's selfish and only thinks of himself. He's naive and arrogant, but deep down he's deeply flawed, and he has to face his past mistakes and demons, eventually growing into a better man. He begins to realize what his weapons are truly being used for, and then Yinsen saves his life. And the emotional impact that both of these characters have on one another is what makes Tony turn his life around. And for me, the moment he becomes Iron Man is when he stops and tries to save Yinsen. He tries to convince him to get up by talking about his family and how it's going to be okay, only to see how Yinsen knew this was the plan all along. And that's the mantra and mindset Tony decides to carry on with him until his death in Endgame. That, and when he feels the need to take responsibility for what these men are using as weapons for, and there's that moment where he looks at his reflection into the mirror, and then he destroys it, essentially destroying that past image of himself, now becoming Iron Man. We then get this badass scene where he takes all these guys out one by one, and it's freaking awesome. A lot of the first MCU films knew how to incorporate humor and drama at the same time, and it works really well here. And even though that's a part of Tony Stark's character, when shit hits the fan, you could tell that he flips the switch and everything becomes more serious. I think that's something that's missing in a lot of the newer MCU films. Thor Ragnarok and Love and Thunder, for instance. Terrence Howard is also in this movie, and he has a really interesting scene that aged poorly.
Next time, baby.
Something I questioned while revisiting this film was, what was Ironmonger's initial plan after killing Tony? Was it to take over Stark Industries? It can't be that, because Pepper Potts and Agent Cole have so many proof on him from his computer that could lock him up for life. So I wonder what his plan would have been. I think he would have just gone and locked up right away if he succeeded in killing Tony. But anyways, that's just a small detail I noticed. Anyways, I loved revisiting the first Iron Man movie. It holds up, and you can see why it launched the MCU. The pacing is great, the CGI and action scenes hold up. The suits from Iron Man 1 and 2 and the first Avengers film are probably the best and look the most convincing and real after everything that comes after this. Anyways, thank you guys as always for watching. I look forward to talking about the rest of the MCU films because that's exactly what I'm going to do. Don't forget to subscribe and comment down below what other movies y'all want me to check out next. I'm Matt, and I'll see you guys in the next video.